So my starting point for this project was remembering my experience working on And Then There Were None, directed by Brian Joyce at TRP. My character, Vera Claythorne, in that show was very much written, shall we say, of a certain time. She seemed to fit more the caricature of hysterical woman prone to swooning. But Brian and I had a lot of long talks about her as a person. We studied the script for even the most obscure suggestions of her past, her worldview, how she inhabited her space, and we managed to flesh out a full life for her and gave her a much more empathetic portrayal. For this photo series, I wanted to find a Christie character who I'd really love to play myself. One who wasn't the swooning secretary or the femme fatale or the maid. Luckily, I was able to find Eileen Bundle Brent, the tomboyish it girl from The Secret of Chimneys, 1925, and The Seven Dials Mystery, 1929. She's independent, fiery, and doesn't need a man to save her. She does have a love interest, but she chooses him not because he rides in like some knight in shining armor, but because she sees him as a suitable companion for her life, for her story, her adventures. She can be blunt, with a very dark, deadpan humor, and she's someone who I think Christie's audiences in her own time would have found very intimidating, which is why I liked her. What makes Agatha Christie's collection of work so valuable and useful is that we can mine it for characters who are still relatable to our modern sensibilities. I mean, Bundle lived 100 years ago, but I can still see so much of myself in her. I see a strong woman who is in charge of her own destiny, who stands up for what she believes in, and who surrounds herself with people who won't hold her back and who will in fact support her in her own worldviews and how she chooses to live her life. And I was very proud to portray her for this little project. So thank you, Bundle.
When embarking on this project for TRP in collaboration with Cate, I'll admit I was a bit perplexed as to how I not only wanted to see representation of who I am, an actor of, shall we say, a certain age, who not only falls to the wayside in more modern arts mediums such as theater and film, but to discover a perhaps lesser known and lesser shown character of Christie's in her novels or short stories outside of the stereotypical maid, hysterical ingenue, snooping old lady, or spinster. Countess Vera Rossakoff appears in only 3 of Christie's works: The Big Four, a novel, and The Double Clue and Labors of Hercules, both short stories. The latter 2 were developed into the PBS Poirot television series as separate episodes. What I find fascinating about Vera is that for being a minor character, she played a pretty major influence on one of Christie's most iconic detectives, Hercule Poirot. She was a jewel thief, a master of disguise, and has been described as being flamboyant and eccentric. She was both an adversary and a love interest to Monsieur Poirot, but could also be considered what we might call a femme fatale. A title not typically assigned to a female character who is aged out of ingenue-type roles, and certainly not one that appears regularly in Christie's novels for a woman of a certain age. In The Double Clue, she was the main antagonist and gave Poirot a run for his money, or shall we say, missing jewels, as he solves a case that leads him to his least unsuspecting suspect, her. In this story, we see both his admiration for her wit, but his resolve for her affections. A soft moment, not often seen by the hardened and gruff detective. These interactions really make the reader or the audience experience such a human side to these characters and leads us to wonder, did they ever meet again? A mystery within a mystery.